solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
May I please report?
Sir.
Your Honor, before you is Brian Taylor Garrett on indictment number 2020 GS 45-209. He's pleading guilty today to the lesser included offense assault and battery of the third degree. The state's recommendation is a 10-year sentence suspended to 18 months active time, followed by probation for 2 years, and that he attend the drug court program here in Williamsburg County. He is represented by William Barr of the Williamsburg County.
Mr. Barr, you represent Mr. Parrott?
Yes, sir, Your Honor, I do.
Do you agree with what the solicitor said?
Yes, sir, Your Honor. If Your Honor recalls, this was, I believe, a couple of terms ago, you dealt with the bond reconsideration or revocation on Mr. Parrott. He was up in Tennessee getting treatment, and he's back. He's trying to get himself clean. He started working. His bond was revoked by Judge Curtis, but I believe his deal was fair. Me and Mr. Parrott and I have both discussed it. We believe it's in his best interest, and yes, sir, I do agree with the solicitor's recommendation.
Mr. Parrott, do you want to waive your right to a jury trial and plead guilty to this charge?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you guilty of the charge?
Yes, sir.
And do you understand that the penalty carries up to 10 years in jail?
Yes, sir.
And do you understand that I may or may not follow the recommendation regarding the sentence?
Yes, sir.
Has anyone promised you anything to get you to plead guilty?
No, sir.
And what did you do that makes you guilty of this crime?
I harmed someone.
To what?
I harmed someone.
That's what I'm asking. What did you do?
I shot someone.
You shot someone.
Yes, sir.
Who did you shoot?
Chase.
Who?
A guy named Chase.
Chase. Why'd you do that?
He was trying to rob me.
He was trying to rob you.
Yes, sir.
You shot him.
I pulled up to his house, rolled down the window. He hit me 3 times through the window, opened the door. He was trying to pull me out by my leg. I had a seatbelt on, so he couldn't get me out of the car. I pulled the gun on him. He looked at me like, he was still going to attack me. That's why I shot him in the leg to get him off of me. I wasn't trying to kill the guy or trying to hurt him bad. I just wanted him to get off of me. Also, his brother was shooting at my car. So it was...
All right. Well, as you're describing it to me, it sounds like you may have had the right to shoot him, or may have a claim of self-defense.
Maybe, but there is no right to shoot nobody.
So,
I was scared at the time because I was being shot at and being attacked. There's never no right to shoot nobody, Your Honor.
so you want to waive your right to claim self-defense?
Yes, sir, I want to waive that right.
Are you on probation or parole now?
No, sir.
You want to plead guilty?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Anderson.
Your Honor, on August the 9th of 2020, Officer Grayson responded to a shooting it is 1401 State Highway in the Hemingway area of Williamsburg County. When he arrived, we found Chase Hicks, victim in this case, who had been shot in the leg inside. He was on the couch. His mother was getting her medical attention while he has arrived. They interviewed the parties at the scene. Mr. Hicks, his mother, who is Mary Hicks, and a victim in a related malicious injury personal property case, David Ken Douglas. They related that Mr. Parrott had come to the home. They knew him to be a person who used drugs and asked to use a pharmaceutical called a sprayer. And that they had a conversation inside the house and decided that they did not want to loan it to him because they feared he was going to pawn it or use it to get drug money. When they came back outside to tell him to no, he was already loading the piece of machinery into the back of his truck. They told him no. He and Mr. Hicks got into an argument. He shot Mr. Hicks in the leg and then put his vehicle in reverse and pulled out. And as he did so, he actually struck a vehicle belonging to Mr. David Douglas. And Mr. Douglas had been his vehicle with wishes into personal property charge that was also made in this case. We dismissed the parties split.
And did the victim want to be here?
I've had several conversations with Mr. Hicks and his mother. They're on board with today's recommendation. They agree that he has a drug problem and that stems from all this. He is out of town and cannot be here today.
Okay. And again, I missed the main point of what he did. What he was committing a crime?
He was stealing a sprayer from them. Mr. Hicks confronted him and then he shot Mr. Hicks in the leg.
Is that what happened?
No, sir.
All right. So what the solicitor's saying is not true.
What the statements from the victims is saying is not
All
true.
right. So tell me again.
The sprayer was bought before this situation. He called me up to the house prior to me pulling up and him hitting me through the window. He used that as an excuse. That it was all a drug deal went wrong. Both of us had a drug problem at the time. He sold me the sprayer for drugs. I come back up there and that's when he hit me through the window and the incident happened.
All right. And you still want to plead guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything else from the state, criminal history, et cetera?
Your Honor, he has a domestic violence in the third degree and shoplifting in 2019.
All right, Mr. Barr?
Yes, sir, Your Honor. Mr. Perry has been struggling with problems with addiction, Your Honor. That was part of the reason why he checked himself into the treatment facility there in Knoxville. He's recognized that he's got a drug issue. He's recognized that most of his troubles stem from that issue, and he's willing to tackle it as part of this plea arrangement. He's got a young family, he's got a wife, he has children. He's accepted his plea deal as a part of getting his life back on course and course correcting so that he can continue on what he was trying to do before his bond was revoked, which is getting back to his family and working. We do believe that there may be differences of opinions based on the statements made, but overall, we do agree with the recommendation from the state. There were other charges, as Solicitor Anderson alluded to, that are being dismissed as part of this plea. Mr. Perry is a good man. He's been struggling with addiction, but he's, I believe, on the path to recovery. I believe he's been clean probably for the prior last since April, about the last 5 or 6 months. So we just asked the court to follow the recommendation from the state and accept.
Which is what?
Which is 8 years suspended to probation, I think followed on by drug rehab as a part of the probation once it's released.
So
in 18 months.
The sentence again is what now?
8 years suspended to 18 months, followed on by probation with treatment being a part of that probation.
How much time has he served? How many days credit is he entitled to?
I believe he's already served about 90 days, I believe, based on the rough calculations.
Yeah.
Probably has about 2
Well, I
months.
write the exact number on the sentence sheet. I can't say this part that says the defendant is to be given credit for time served and a blank for the number of days or the number of months. You know, I don't write about 90 days. I need on every case. I need to know the amount of credit.
The revocation.
The exact number of days. And I need to know it before, and of course you need to know it before the plea, so you can tell the judge, not figure out when the judge says how many days.
Yes, Your Honor. Quick sidebar. Madam Clerk, I believe we have a count, official count of 50 days, Your Honor.
State in agreement with that.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's a little different than approximately, you said approximately 90?
we were counting the months, and I believe there was a discrepancy about when he bonded out on the first charges last year. But we trust the clerk's math. That is, Solicitor Anderson and I came up with 48 days. The clerk says 50, so we would yield to the clerk on this one.
Do you agree with that, Mr. Perry?
Yes, Your Honor.
I accept the guilty plea. The sentence is that you be committed to the State Department of Corrections for 8 years, provided that upon the service of 18 months, the balance is suspended with probation for 2 years, and you are to receive credit for time served of 50 days. Special condition of probation upon your release is that you receive substance abuse counseling. You be subjected to random drug and alcohol testing, and that you pay a $500 public defender fee to the clerk of court during your probation.
This is Christian News.TY. I'm Tony Conyers. If there are any newsworthy events in Williamsburg County, we will get them to you as soon as possible. If not, you can follow us on Christian News.TY Facebook, you can follow us on YouTube, and you can follow us on our website.
Christian News.TY would like to thank you for watching. Please share.